My name is Caitlin Kasberg, and I'm here to lead you through our first spiritual discipline, solitude. I thought this would be a great one to start with because, as a culture, we are constantly go, go, go. And the coronavirus has, in a sense, forced us into social distancing. So these days, when you can't go to work, when you don't know if and when the kids are going to go back to school, when you aren't really sure if it's safe to go out to eat or even go to the grocery store, we are forced into isolation. And you may be thinking, right, isolation. I thought this was about solitude. Stay with me. It is, because the only difference between isolation and solitude is what your mind is set on. One of the most clear pictures of this is in the Bible, in Genesis. See, in Genesis, we have Abram and Sarai, and God promises them a son, but after years of waiting and no son, they decide to take matters into their own hands. And Sarai has Abram sleep with her servant Hagar. And just like that, Hagar is pregnant with Ishmael, and Sarai is so jealous that she abuses her, and Hagar ends up running away. And she's out in the wilderness, fending for herself, all alone in isolation. And then an angel of the Lord comes to her and says that the Lord has seen her in her misery and tells her to go back to Sarai. And oh, by the way, Hagar, your offspring will be too numerous to count. And then the scriptures tell us Hagar gave this name to the Lord who spoke to her. You are the God who sees me. I have seen the one who sees me. That's why one of the names of God is El Roi, which means the one who sees. So Hagar went from isolation to solitude when she became aware that she was seen by the one who sees her. And today, if you're feeling lonely and in isolation, let me encourage you. You are in solitude with the Lord when you are aware that you, in this moment, are seen by God, El Roi, the one who sees you in your frustration, your anxiety, your distress, and uncertainty, just like Hagar was all those years ago. If you're feeling overlooked and lonely, may you feel the eyes of the one who sees you, who is looking at you right now in this moment. How can you be overlooked if God is looking at you right now? If God feels distant and it feels like He isn't hearing your prayers or your pleas, remember this. First, you may feel all sorts of things right now, and your feelings are real, but they may not reflect reality. Second, the reality is this. God has every hair on your head numbered, and you can't number hairs from a distance. So today, I invite you to come into awareness of God's presence for a few minutes. And in this minute, go ahead and close your eyes, get comfortable, and breathe deeply. Bring your awareness to God's presence all around you. As you breathe, feel the air not just fill your chest, but all the way down to the bottom of your lungs. Get more oxygen to your brain, and I promise you, you will think more clearly. Feel the air blow through your nose and mouth and on your skin, and acknowledge that it's this air that connects you to all of your neighbors. He knew what He was doing when He placed us here together, didn't He? As you become aware of God's presence and His eternal love for you and for us in this community, the miracle is that we have each other to help us find our way when things get unsteady. Remind yourself that He didn't bring you here to leave you here. This isn't your final resting place, but there is something beautiful happening here between you and God, now that you two are alone together. The ancient Hebrews believed that the sound of your breath is the sound of God's name. So as you breathe in and out, listen to your body innately praising your Creator. Now take a moment to remember that we practice solitude because Jesus practiced solitude. For 40 days, He left His community to commune with the Father. So right now, you're doing something that Jesus did all those years ago. And perhaps you're doing something that Jesus still does today. And if it's good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for us. Friends, we at DPC are sitting with you and cheering you on. We love you. God bless.